Hey, you wild dreamers and cosmic groovers. Ready to dive into a reggae-fueled fever dream? This is the quest for the Cosmic Doobie, a Rastafarian tale that'll flip your universe upside down. Smash that subscribe button and drop a like if you're down for neon jungles and disco shark dance-offs. Let's blaze into the madness. Somewhere in a neon-drenched jungle where the trees grew upside down with roots clawing at the sky and leaves tickling the dirt, a Rastaman named Jafar Dreadlockicus roamed, his hair a swirling galaxy of black tendrils that shimmered with stardust and smelled of burnt pineapple. Jafar wasn't your average herb-smoking wanderer. His eyes glowed like lava lamps, and his sandals were made from the shed skin of a disco snake that once boogied across the Sahara. He'd heard whispers on the wind, carried by butterflies with boomboxes for wings, about the Cosmic Doobie, a joint so potent it could unravel the fabric of reality and stitch it back together with threads of pure bliss. This wasn't just a smoke, it was a prophecy, a legend, a funky fever dream that pulsed to the beat of an unseen drum. Jafar knew he had to find it, not for himself, but for the universe, which had grown tired of its own seriousness and desperately needed a hit of cosmic chill. So off he went, not walking, not running, but riding a surfboard carved from a giant vinyl record, spinning through the air like a frisbee tossed by a hurricane. The board hummed with reggae basslines, propelling him over oceans of glittering syrup and mountains of melted crayons, where the colors screamed in harmony and the wind tasted like mango jam. Beside him floated his trusty companion, a three-eyed toaster named Rastafarian, who claimed to be the reborn spirit of a reggae pirate ship sunk in a sea of lava. Rastafarian didn't talk. It vibrated, sending out waves of rhythm that made the clouds twerk and the stars hiccup. Together, they chased the Cosmic Doobie, following a trail of glowing breadcrumbs that sang Bob Marley covers in falsetto. Their journey took them first to a swamp where the water was made of liquid mirrors, reflecting not their faces but the dreams of 1,000 sleeping flamingos who'd once ruled the world with feathers and funk. The flamingos, now retired, lived in a floating casino built from petrified marshmallows, gambling with dice made of jelly beans. Jafar didn't stop to play. He surfed right through, the vinyl board slicing the mirror water into shards that turned into disco balls and rained down glitter. Rastafarian buzzed a funky beat, and the flamingos flapped their wings in approval, sending a gust of strawberry-scented wind to push the duo onward. Next came a desert where the sand was alive, wriggling like worms and giggling like hyenas on helium. The grains formed faces, some with dreadlocks, some with afros, all wearing sunglasses made of melted candy. They sang a chorus of off-key ska, trying to lure Jafar into a dance-off, but he spun his board into a tornado of groove, scattering the sand into a dust storm that rearranged itself into a giant smiley face winking at the moon. Rastafarian pulsed a rhythm so deep the desert quaked, and a sinkhole opened, swallowing them into an underground rave where glow-stick-wielding scorpions spun turntables with their tails. The scorpions didn't care about the Cosmic Doobie, they just wanted to party, and Jafar obliged, shredding an air guitar solo that made the cave walls sweat neon paint. Up they popped, spat out by the earth into a forest where the trees were giant lollipops, their branches dripping with syrup that hardened into basslines you could climb. Here lived a tribe of sentient pineapples, their spiky heads bobbing to a beat only they could hear, their eyes glowing like tiny suns. They didn't walk. They rolled, tumbling down hills and bouncing off rocks, leaving trails of sticky juice that turned into rivers of reggae. Jafar surfed these rivers, the vinyl board skimming the surface while Rastafarian toasted the air with electric vibes, turning the pineapples into a conga line that stretched to the horizon. The forest ended in a cliff, and without hesitation, Jafar launched off the edge, soaring into a sky where the clouds were cotton candy and the birds were flying turntables, scratching records with their beaks. He landed on a glacier made of frozen reggae, its surface slick with rhythm and riddled with cracks that pulsed like subwoofers. Beneath the ice slept a woolly mammoth DJ, its tusks spinning vinyl at 33 RPM, its trunk blowing bubbles filled with dubstep wobbles. The mammoth didn't wake, but its snores shook the glacier, sending Jafar and Rastafarian sliding into a crevasse that spat them out onto a beach where the sand was powdered sugar and the waves were chocolate syrup. Here, a school of disco-dancing sharks patrolled the shore, their fins glowing with strobe lights, their teeth gnashing to a beat that made the tide bounce. Jaffer didn't flinch. He surfed the chocolate waves, the vinyl board leaving a wake of caramel ripples, while Rastostafarian vibrated so hard the sharks joined in, forming a synchronized swim team that spelled out Rasta Road in the surf. The trail led inland to a city of skyscrapers built from stacked boomboxes, each one blaring a different reggae track, the sound so thick it turned the air into jelly. The streets were rivers of lava lamp goo, flowing uphill, and the citizens were walking lava lamps with dreadlocks for wicks, their glass bodies swirling with psychedelic colors. They didn't notice Jaffer. They were too busy grooving, their light pulsing in time with the city's heartbeat. But the cosmic Doobie wasn't here. It was beyond, in a volcano that erupted confetti instead of lava, its crater guarded by a flock of disco pterodactyls with wings made of shattered mirror balls. Jaffer surfed straight up the volcano's side, the vinyl board grinding against the confetti slopes, Rastostafarian buzzing a bass line that made the pterodactyls boogie out of the way. At the summit, the cosmic Doobie sat on a throne of melted gold records, glowing like a supernova wrapped in hemp. But it wasn't alone. A giant disco ball squid hovered above, its tentacles spinning glow sticks, its eye a kaleidoscope of funk. Jaffer didn't hesitate. He leapt from the board, grabbed the Doobie mid-air, and lit it with a spark from his dreadlocks. The squid didn't fight. It grooved, its tentacles twirling faster as the smoke hit. The first puff turned the volcano into a giant speaker, blasting reggae across the cosmos. The second puff melted the sky into a tie-dye swirl, stars dripping like wax onto the earth. The third puff woke the universe, and everything, trees, sharks, pineapples, scorpions, flamingos, started jamming, a party so wild it broke time itself into a loop of eternal chill. But the cosmic Doobie wasn't done. It pulsed, and a wormhole opened, sucking Jaffer and Rastostafarian into a dimension where gravity was a ska beat and light was a saxophone solo. Here, planets were giant vinyl records spinning on cosmic turntables, and the sun was a dreadlocked lion roaring rhythm. Jaffer surfed the sound waves, the Doobie still burning, its smoke turning the void into a haze of peace. Rastostafarian vibrated a melody that made the lion purr, and the planets aligned into a dance floor where comets twirled with asteroids. The Doobie's power peaked, and the wormhole spat them back to their world, now a paradise where rivers ran with rum, mountains grew herb, and the moon DJ'd the tides. Jaffer didn't stop. He surfed into the sunset, the vinyl board now a spaceship, Rastostafarian glowing like a supernova. The cosmic Doobie, half-smoked, rested in his hand, its embers whispering of more madness to come. The universe grooved on, and somewhere, a jellyfish with a mohawk nodded in approval, knowing the quest was far from over.